What's up, YouTube? My name is Joe the Bearded Nerd, and today I give you the first episode of my series, Drunk Disney Reviews. The series where I watch every animated Disney movie in order and review it drunk. Now, today is the first episode, which means that it is the first full movie that Walt Disney ever released, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Every episode, I will also be making a drink themed on the movie of the week. And today I present to you the Poison Apple. Shout out to magicalrecipes.net for providing the recipe for this drink. Link down in the description to their page if you'd like to make it yourself at home. Now, this drink uses vanilla flavored vodka, sour apple schnapps, Sprite, and grenadine for that little poisonous touch. And let me tell you, this thing is freaking amazing. Like, oh my God. It definitely puts me in an evil mood. And man, am I so ready to go watch this movie. I will see you guys when I'm done and drunk, and I'll give you guys my review. All right. Oh. All right. All right, I got it. I had promised myself that I would try and name the Seven Dwarfs. There's Doc and Bashful, Sleepy, Dopey, Sleepy, Sneezy, Happy, and Grumpy. Yes, I got it. All right, listen. The introduction to this movie is way too long. Like, I understand. I understand that, like, it was the old times and, like, the old times. This is like 1930s. This is what normally happen, right? Like, it's like the Wizard of Oz. They did the same thing where they did like this long ass introduction because they don't do trailers because they wanted to give credit. Whatever. I get it, right? Because nobody watches the fucking, not trailers, credits. Nobody watches the credits because there was no such thing as the end credit scene. Like, I get it, right? But like, the intro is too fucking long. Like, it's too long, and it put that shit at the end. Like, I'm glad that they put that shit at the end. I don't know how long it's going to take until they actually do it, but they need to do it, and it needs to happen. And then there's reading. Like, I have to read about the context of the story before the story and how that she's a princess and that she has to go clean shit, and that's such a terrible thing. Like, what happened to show don't tell, right? Like, that is a thing that you do in theater and movies and everything. Like, show don't tell, that's the thing. And you just tell me the story, just show it to me. Like, the movie's only like an hour and 10 minutes anyway. Just show it. Just show the queen being a bitch and saying go do this. You're not, like, just do it. You don't have to tell me, or you just show it to me. Whatever. All right, so there's that. And then, like, so all right, I don't know if I said I'm gonna do the bad stuff first, and then we're gonna talk about the good shit, just because there's a lot more bad shit than good shit. So we'll do this. So the queen, not, first of all, the correct thing is magic mirror on the wall, not mirror on the wall. Like, there's a whole fucking show called Mirror, I think, or some shit like that. I don't know, but it's magic mirror on the wall. But not only is it magic mirror on the wall, the queen literally says slave in the magic mirror. Like, he's a slave? I just thought he was like some form of, like, he's a slave. That's fucking crazy. Like, that's insane. This was like 60, 70 years after slavery was abolished. And, like, slave in the magic mirror. Okay, whatever. So, and then, okay. And then the queen, all right, so the queen's like, you know, super vain, right? She's like, bro, I am fucking hot, right? Like, this me, I'm hot. You tell me, magic mirror, you tell me how hot I am. I'm the hottest bitch in this realm, right? And he's always like, yeah, you're the hottest bitch in the realm. You're the best, right? And then And then one day he's just like, nah, you're not the hottest bitch in the realm. Not anymore. You're not, I need to, you're not the hottest bitch in the realm anymore. Right? Is this bitch, it's fucking Snow White. And then she's like, bitch, what? What? And then she's like, all right, cool. I'm gonna fucking kill her. I'm gonna kill Snow White. And so she gets the huntsman dude, right? Who's got like the little short haircut. He's got the knife, and he's like, all right. She's like, all right, you're gonna go kill him. And he's like, Snow White, you're gonna go? And she's like, yeah, go fucking kill Snow White. But not only are you gonna kill Snow White, here's a fucking box to put her heart in the box. And he's like, okay, cool. I'm gonna do, like, what? And she, like, this is how evil she is, right? She has a whole evil layer in her basement, right? A whole evil layer in her basement. She's got books about different spells and potions that she can make. She has a whole little kit, like all this different shit just ready to fucking go to make herself look all ugly and shit, which she already is kind of fucking ugly anyway, but that's whatever. But like to make herself all old and ugly and shit, she fucking has all this shit already ready to go. You dip the apple and it has the skull and shit. Like it's already in the basement. But then after a little bit later, when she goes and is like, all right, I'm gonna go over to Snow White's house, or not Snow White's house, the dwarf's house, and is like, all right, cool, I'm gonna fucking go. She's like walking down the stairs, and she has a cell, like a fucking jail cell, in right next to the boat. And there's this dude. I assume it's a dude. He's a skeleton, and he's like just out of reach of the water. And he's just reaching for the water. And she's like, ah, you thirsty bitch, and kicks the fucking water thing into him, and is like, fucking sucks, dude. Like, she is so fucking evil and scary. Like, I'm not surprised if there were so many fucking like kids with nightmares just seeing that shit. And then when she's got like when Snow White, like the huntsman's like about to kill him, he's like, I can't do it, I can't go, you gotta run, you gotta get out of here, she's gonna fucking kill you. Like, and Snow White's like running through the forest, and like she's scared of everything. She's scared of the trees, and the trees are like grabbing her and shit. And then she like falls down a hole, and it like, gets into the water, and like the logs look like fucking alligators and shit. That shit is scary. Okay? Like, I'm an adult. I'm 29 years old. That shit's scary. Okay? Like, it's not cool. Like, I don't know how kids were not terrified of this movie. And it was popular. The movie made like $8 million back in 1937, which is a lot of money today. Like, and they made, like, it was a popular movie. And I don't know how kids weren't scared. I don't understand. But here's the big thing that I have a problem with this movie. Here's the big problem. The entire, like, the two songs that Snow White... We're going to start. Here's the big part. Here's the biggest problem that I have with this movie. Is the two songs that Snow White sings about, like, someday my prince will come, or you know, somewhere out there, whatever fucking song. Her entire idea is, you know, someday some prince is just gonna whisk me away, and because it's so hard, my life is so hard, my fucking stepmom makes me do chores and shit. Like, she's a fucking princess, and her stepmom's the queen, and her stepmom's just like, you got to do chores and shit. Like, her life is so hard, right? And so she's like, someday some prince will just come and find me, and then the fucking dude is like just riding his horse down, and he's like, oh, I hear that singing, that's really good singing. He climbs the walls of the castle and starts singing with her, whatever. We'll get to that in a minute, but that, because that part's important too. But like, her entire idea, the entire, like, her reason for living is someday some random dude is just gonna come whisk me away. Like, she doesn't have to try, she doesn't have to do anything, she doesn't have to make anything of herself, right? It's just someday some random guy is gonna come take care of me. But, and she's like willing not to put any effort in whatsoever, right? But when she's trying to convince the dwarves to let her stay once they like find her and shit, they're literally, she's like, you know what, I'll take care of the house, I'll cook, I'll clean, I'll take care of the dog, like I'll fucking do whatever, I'll make you some gooseberry pie or whatever. And she's like willing to do all this shit for some random dudes just to be able to live somewhere, but she's not willing to do that kind of stuff for a dude. She's not willing to do that for her Prince Charming or whatever. Like that's what does that teach little girls? You don't have to work hard. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is sit there and just hope that some nice prince will come and whisk you away. Like that's not a good thing to teach little girls, to just sit there and do nothing. Like that's not what you do. And that's that's the entire point of this movie, is someday some prince will come and take you away. Like I understand it's a kids movie, I understand it's a fairy tale, but if that is that what you really want to teach your daughter, is that what you want to teach your kid, is that you don't have to work hard in your life, you don't have to do anything, somebody will just come and take care of you? Like that's not cool, right? Like it just doesn't, it's not cool. And I don't think that like that's not a good example to be setting for your daughter, to look at Snow White and be like, you know what, she was doing the right thing. Like it's just not right. Another thing is when she's going to the cottage initially, right, when she's running away, and then she's like asks the animal, hey, do you know anywhere that I could live, because I'm a little girl and I don't know how to take care of myself, because I've never had to take care of myself before. Do you guys know where I could live? And they're like, yeah, we know where you could live, come follow us. And they bring her to the cottage. She like looks and she's like, oh, the lights are off. She like looks through the window, she's like, oh, the lights are off. She goes to the door, tries to jiggle the door, door's locked. She knocks, no, nobody, fuck it, I'm gonna go inside. It doesn't make sense. Like, and I understand that this is a children's movie and it's supposed to be great, and I love Disney, everything about Disney, but just like watching this, it make a lot of the stuff just doesn't make sense, and it's not like a good example that you would want to give to your children. Like, you don't want your children to just be like, hey, you can go into that random house as long as the door's open, go into the house. Like, this is not a good example to be setting for kids, right? And then once we get to the dwarves, right, we meet all the dwarves, right? And then Doc, who's supposed to be the doctor, he's supposed to be the smartest one. Dude, this dude cannot put a sentence together at all. He keeps fumbling over his words and saying the wrong words that mean completely opposite of what he actually means. Like, man cannot put a sentence together, and it is so frustrating. he's a bumbling idiot. Like, I don't know why they didn't name him Bumbley or something like that. Like, dude, he's not the Doc. I think the only reason they named him Doc is because the dude had glasses. Like, that was it. That is the only reason. And another thing, they treat Dopey like shit the entire time, and that is not okay. Like, the guy, yeah, he's a little slow, right? He doesn't kind of get it. And they even said it's not that he can't talk, he's just never tried it, right? So, like, and yeah, again, he's kind of a little bumbling idiot, right? It's fine, but like, they treat him like shit, right? So, like, when they get to the house and they're like, oh shit, the light's on, somebody must be inside. They go inside and they're like, oh, and like the birds are assholes, and they're just like tweeting and like making sounds and shit and like tapping on the wood and shit and scaring them. And they're like, shit, we better go upstairs. And like, everybody pretends to go upstairs, and then they're just like, all right, Dopey, go upstairs and get murdered. It's not gonna be us. Like, what? And then when everything's okay and they realize that Snow White's cool, and she's like, hey, I'll cook you guys some dinner. That's cool. Or she was already cooking, but whatever. And she's like, all right, everybody sits down at the table. They're like, we're ready to eat. She's like, you guys better go wash your ass. Like, you guys definitely haven't washed your ass in a while. And so everybody goes outside except for Grumpy. Grumpy's just sitting there. He's cool. We'll talk about Grumpy in a minute because I fucking love Grumpy. But and they're like washing Grumpy, like dunking this dude in the water, and Doc tells Dopey, he's like, go get the soap, and then the dude just starts choking on the soap, like just burping up bubbles, and they're just like, fuck Dopey, we gotta clean Grumpy, and they already have soap. Like, why did you tell Dopey to go get soap? Because Doc's just sitting there with the soap, scrubbing Grumpy and shit. Like, dude's choking on fucking. He's choking, and they treat Dopey like shit, and it's really unfair because Dopey is amazing. He's a sweetheart, and again, he's not very smart, but like they treat him like shit. So the poison that the queen puts on the apple, like the potion that she brews, is called the Sleeping Death. Right, and she goes through the whole thing. She dips the apple. It's black and it's got the goo on it. She's like, then turn red, and it turns red. Right, and then she's like, oh shit, there's got to be some sort of antidote for this. Let me go look in my big book. And she looks at the book. She's like, True Love's Kiss. Ha! That's fucking never gonna happen. And just slams the book like Shrek. Is like, yeah, like that'll ever happen. Like, what kind of, like, do you not? You have all these books. Right? You have all these books of all these different potions and shit. You can't find the fucking Avada Kedavra killing curse. Like, you have to put her to sleep to make it look like she's sleeping. Which leads me to my next point. The movie, after everything's done, right? After everything's done, it straight up goes, it gives you more reading to do, as if you haven't, just watched an entire hour worth of movie, and they couldn't show you this in 3 minutes worth of a fucking scene. The movie literally says, Snow White is dead. It doesn't say she looks like she's dead. It says Snow White is dead. And the dwarves go to find a glass coffin because she's so beautiful that they're like, the world has to see how beautiful she is before we put her in the fucking ground. So they put her in a glass coffin. And the prince, the guy who literally met her once, and it was only because he heard her singing, climbs the roof of the fucking castle, not the roof, the fucking wall, climbs the wall of the castle, and then literally sings with her for a second, and she's like, oh shit, I'm not in my beautiful clothes, I better run away, and that's it. He falls in love with her, she falls in love with him, whatever. But he hears it literally says this in the on the page of whatever, some book that's in there. It literally says he hears that someone was buried in a glass coffin. That's it. It doesn't say that it was Snow White. It doesn't say anything like that. He just hears about a girl that was buried that's put in a glass coffin, not even buried, and he's like, I better go fucking look at that shit because that shit sounds interesting. He gets there, right? He gets to the room, finds it somehow, gets there, everybody's like kneeled down around the casket. They somehow open the glass up to put flowers down, right, on her body, and he just like walks into the door, doesn't say hi, doesn't say my condolences, nothing, and he's just like, I'm gonna kiss this bitch. She's dead. Everybody thinks that she's dead. I'm just gonna kiss her. I've met her once. I've never had a conversation with her. I think that I love her. Why would you kiss a dead body? Like, I understand that that's the way that he saves her and he picks her up and they go live off and be happily ever after. I understand that, but like, he kissed a dead body, bro. Like, it just doesn't make sense. They've never met before. But that is one of the stupidest things that I've ever heard. Ever. And yeah, it's great because it lives her fantasy of someday some man coming in and just taking care of her, and they go off and live. Like, I'm assuming he's a prince, but like, if he's a prince, it has to be of another country, right? Because she's a princess, and unless they're somehow related, and this is some like Alabama shit, like this takes place in it's supposed to be in like Bavaria or Germany or something, so like, I don't know what he's the prince of, but like, that doesn't make any sense. So that is all the stuff that I had issues with in this movie. Now let's get to the good shit. All right, Whistle While You Work is an amazing song. It is super catchy. I love it. It goes towards like the best of like what's going on in the movie, because they're all cleaning and the animals are helping and they're using their tails to dust and shit, and the birds are cleaning the laundry and shit, and like that's great. I love it. Whistle While You Work, banger of a song. Amazing. Hi Ho is even a better song than that, which happens right after that when we first actually see all the dwarves. Amazing song. Funny thing, I always thought that the song was hi ho, it's off to work we go. And they do sing that, but not until like towards the end of the movie, before they have to go and like scare the queen off and shit, and she like falls off a cliff, which is hilarious. Completely hilarious. But the actual lyric of the song, at least from the part that everybody remembers, where they're all like coming out of the diamond and jewel mine, and they're all like lined up with their little, you know, stuff and their pickaxe, and they're just like hi ho. It's off to home from work we go, or to home from work we go. Like that was it, and I didn't know that, and I always watch stuff with captions, so like I saw that, I was like, that's really cool. I didn't know that was the actual lyric. I always thought it was off to work we go. But it's to work, or to home from work we go. That was really fucking cool. Now, the two best dwarves in the entire movie are Dopey and Grumpy. Okay, Dopey, we've already talked about how great Dopey is. He's just enjoying and vibing with life. He's just chilling and just kind of going along with everything. He doesn't really make any decisions on his own. He just kind of gets told what to do, and it's really sad. It's like Lenny from Of Mice and Men. Like, he doesn't really know what he's doing. He's kind of just doing his own thing, and he's amazing. But Grumpy is amazing. Grumpy is the only one that is thinking clearly the entire time, right? Like, all of the dwarves have apparently never seen a woman before, or never been touched by a woman before. So they're willing to, like, as soon as they realize that Snow White is a woman, they're just like, oh my god, a woman, maybe she'll love me. Maybe like they walk out one time when they're going out to work, and they're just like, can you kiss me, please? Kiss me on the head. And then Dopey like goes in a circle and tries to get kissed like multiple times, and eventually Grumpy falls for it. And every man has his faults, and I get that. But like, the entire time when everybody's just like, should we let her stay? Should we not let her stay? No, we shouldn't. Like, let's get cleaned up or whatever. Like, Grumpy's just sitting there, right? He's just sitting there on his little wine barrel, and he's like, he literally says all females is poison, which I love. Is fucking hilarious. I don't think that, but it's just funny because it goes along with what he's actually thinking, where it's like, and he's multiple times he's just like, you know, women will just you know, they'll just get you to do whatever you tell them to do, and then you get nothing out of it. Like, it's just funny, but he's the only one thinking clearly, to the point of, there is a random woman in our house. We have no idea who she is. Like, yeah, she says that she's Snow White, and they recognize that she is the Princess Snow White, but they don't actually know that that's who that is. She could be running from the law. We don't know exactly who she is, right? She is a random woman that has let herself into the house, completely changed the arrangement that they already had in their house. Yes, I understand she cleaned, and that's nice, and that's great, right? But like, she barged into their house, broke in, and basically did whatever the fuck she wanted to do, and then is like, can you please let me stay here? This old lady's trying to kill me. Like, he's the only one thinking clearly, like, no, we should not do this. And then eventually he gets basically outvoted, and is just like, they're like, no, we're gonna do it anyway. And he's just like sitting there like, fucking whatever, dude, like, whatever. He throughout the entire movie, he's the only one that thinks clearly, because all these other dudes have apparently never been touched by a woman before, and we're just like, we will do whatever it takes just for you to be here and to take care of the house and stuff. And that is why I think that Grumpy is the best character, or the best of the Seven Dwarfs. Now, for the animals, I think it's the turtle. The turtle is definitely just amazing. He's basically Dopey of the animals, right? That he's just going along with everybody. He just wants to be a part of the party, right? Great, amazing. And then he's like going up the stairs, and he like pulls himself up by his mouth every time, and he's like, man, I made it to the top of the stairs, and then boom, all the animals come down and he just like tumbles down the stairs. And then like he's going towards, you know, makes his way one way, and then boom, all the animals come back. And it's just like, I feel so bad for the guy. Like, he's just trying to be with his friends. He's just trying to help. He's just trying to be with everybody. And he's just, he gets kind of screwed over. And so I'm just like, you know what? Turtle is awesome. Now, I know we've gone on a lot of rants, and it may not make a lot of sense, okay? But this movie is a classic, okay? It is a legitimate classic. It is the first Disney movie, the first animated Disney movie. I think there was Steamboat Willie before this, but that's it. This is what, 1937, 1938. Like, this is one of the greatest beginnings of the biggest and best movie and entertainment company ever. This movie is what started everything. Walt Disney worked on this himself, and that is a classic. That immediately just makes it a classic because of what came from it. I loved this. I did love the movie. I've always loved Snow White. It's going to Disney World. It's one of the best rides. The Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Like, it is. I loved it, but one of the things that, you know, it tries to teach little girls is not great. So I think that my rating for this movie is going to be 5 out of 10. And the only reason it's that high is because of the fact that it's a classic, is the reason why. If it were not for that, I would give it a 2 out of 10, because of how terrifying and how awful the message that it's trying to teach you. As a little girl, of just sit there and do nothing and some man will come take care of you instead of being self-sufficient. But because it's a classic, I'm giving it 3 extra points, 5 out of 10. It's a good movie. I will probably rewatch it. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. I had a lot of fun, you know, recording it and enjoying with the drink. And you know, writing the review was amazing. This is my first video of this. I hope you guys really like it. I definitely can plan on continuing and moving forward. The next video that I'm going to be doing is Pinocchio. That will be coming out next week. So I'm really excited about that. If you guys like it, please let me know down in the comments below. I would really appreciate it if you guys, you know, liked or commented. Definitely subscribe if you guys want to continue to see this stuff. I love Disney so much, and I would love to continue to share my love for Disney with you guys. Yeah, and if you guys have any recommendations of any drinks that I should pair with any of the next movies that are coming out, please do let me know. And let me know what you guys think of the review. I had a lot of fun, and thank you guys very much. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you guys very much. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Bye, guys.